Okay, so the first thing I'm going to actually do is bring over, I don't know what you would call it, the master sheet for the Russian battle groups downstairs. And it's probably the reason why I'm doing it now is because I want to put it away. Because it's kind of like it's the master copy. I don't have a backup, which is a scary thing to be doing when I'm transporting it over, and you'll see why. But it'll frame, or it'll have some of what's going on here and how I want to eventually progress with the grand campaign. And I think when you see how many things are going on just with the Russian thing, and remember with the Gorlitsa Tarnov scenario, just with the Russians, 103 infantry divisions that all potentially could be on on a reduced side, also have strength point reduction markers on them, and so on and so forth. That's a lot of information, like in flip. Oh, and by the way, let's say on turn whatever, you have to go and find a particular division and replace it with, upgraded or downgraded to a brigade or whatever. And it's like, holy smokes. Like, if you have, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, go through around, and look, man, I've said this 40 trillion times. I'm just trying to find the best way for me to milk this game system for what I want to do. And for what I want to do, I have to minimize the amount of fiddling I do on here, and I'll do most of the fiddling off map. It just, to me, makes way more sense. I'm gonna go with that. So just here's the Russian sheet, for crying out loud. That's an awful lot of stuff. Now, like I said, that's just the Russian on the rinky-dink little, and it's not even all the counters that are on the thing. And yet again, I have to remind myself, what are the counters representing? Like, what are they for? They're a placeholder for information, essentially. So that's the way I'm going to try to look at it. And these little things here, I'm just trying to see how much I can actually stuff on a counter. Okay, maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I'm almost getting the whole map. That'll be kind of cool. Well, obviously I do want, because you don't really need it, but it would be nice to frame whatever. But anyways, let's zoom in a little bit. There, I think that's good. Yeah, you still get the Germans, the Italian stuff. So all the Italian counters except for the fortresses are just placeholders. They're older versions. I'm not going to be using them, but the fortress ones I am. So that's the right size. Oh, I haven't measured them yet. What the size is. I should do that later. But they're a little bit bigger than ½ inch or whatever the heck it is, but the Austrian counters are what I'm going to be using, I think, for the Italian campaign. And yet again, remember, all these counters are just these super duper lickety split baba trick kind of counters I made. There's no vector here. It's just bitmap all the way. I'm just when I go to Grand Campaign Land, I'll make sure everything's kind of like nice and everything's nice and sharp. Mind you, I like the fonts I'm using. So what is it? It's called a... So one thing I love too is that people have come up with, like semi-condensed and semi-bold. So it's not like all the way one way, so you've got you've got some fun to play with. It's I'm using the font. I just love it because they're so clean. At least I think they are. Maybe you guys think I'm full of it, but let's see if you can see what I mean. Nice and like. So yeah, they just don't have a lot of fancy gobbledygook, which is what I wanted. It's the Bond Schrift semi-bold, semi-condensed 32 point is what I'm using right now, and I don't know, it seems nice. Anyways, what else can I say? So what I'm trying to do here is just like look at, yet again, I'm starting to go, like tokens, 3D. Could I put little grooves in each corner? So something could, or like a little, I don't know, like something where I could, it's not, I do know that I'm not, like, is there some way I can place things off and on? Remember, I'm just using these micro dice as just an indication of where I could place things and see if I could still get away with things. And looks like I have a lot of space between all the counters, so that's great. Mind you, oh, I should be wrong. These are not the right size. These are slightly smaller than these guys. But still, it looks like I've got a lot of space. Yeah, it's this 3D-ish thing, and like I want to get rid of this. Oh, hold on. I'm going to run super duper ultra quick and see if I can, it'll maybe give you an idea of what I want to do. Maybe 3D print some stuff. Hold on. It's in my other room. I don't know if you'll be able to see these, hopefully. So these are some 3D printed 2mm-ish mass troops that I use when I play Napoleonics for myself or whatever. But it'll give you an idea, a frame of reference of maybe like how tiny and stuff you can get. And that's what I mean by maybe using these 3D printed little placeholder thingamajigs. So much, I'm not going to mean the size is massive. These are 20mm size things, but you can hopefully see how small that troop is. These troops here, this is just some French infantry. But see what I mean? So I could maybe put these little tiny doodly dudes on each corner of the counters. Maybe I'll get a can of, here, some artillery. Or what I use as representation of artillery. Hopefully, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But you see what I mean? Like maybe I could 3D print some like little doodly dudes here, and on each corner, and then I could place something so they don't fall off all the time and still represent whatever. I can take them on and off. Just something easy. It looks like I can still manipulate. But anyways, that's the kind of little world I'm trying to think about. With the counters, but I like, yeah, because I don't want to, I love using these little things. So that's why, I mean, Alberto like sent me off on just a wow, and I love it. And it's going to like help streamline. It's just still, you know, still early days, but I like this size for now. And this is the proper size map. I did not rescale this map. This is what you see is what you get scale. So you know, and I think these are ever so slightly larger than the ones you get. That's one thing I've got to admit about the which is you see it a lot with a lot of games, which drives me nuts, is the counters are either the same size or larger than the hacks. Like, what the hell, man? Like, give me a break. Anyways, I shouldn't end it on a bad note. No, actually, I'm going to end it on a good note. You know what I'm going to do? After this, I'm going to watch the first episode of World War I Apocalypse, I do believe, that Ken recommended. And, yeah, I think that's a good way of going about things. So hopefully that went well. I'll find out in a minute.